felt like somebody punched me in the stomach. Like all the other girls in camp, I too auditioned for the role of Dorothy. And hearing that I not only didn't land that role, but I was chosen to play the ugly, wicked witch was more than my 8-year-old self could handle, and I ran out crying. A counselor found me and sat next to me and whispered, "I want to tell you a secret." He got me listening. Any girl can play Dorothy, but it takes a truly exceptional actress to portray the Wicked Witch successfully. What could I do? I gave the performance of my life. Exhibit A, my melted self crawling off the stage discreetly. And as we came for a curtain call and bowed down, this counselor stood up and applauded me, and I threw my pointy hat at him. And, I don't know his name. I don't even remember what he looked like. But he taught me something that followed me throughout life, that I can always take any situation and turn it around and leverage it. And that's what I did. For example, when I was 16 and kind of died for the first time. See, I lived in Jerusalem, Second Intifada. People were killed right and left. I buried friends and neighbors, and a suicide bomber decided to explode a few feet away from me. In the midst of all this, my parents decided to get a divorce. Great timing. So one night, I find myself very tired, and I'm done. And I tell God, "It's been great. You can take me now." And I went into bed, fully prepared to die. The next morning, to my utter surprise, I woke up. Oh, need a redo. So I thought about it a little bit, and I remembered that counselor, and I realized I have a choice. And I can take this challenge and use it as a stepping stone to reach higher, to be better. And that's when I started being an activist. If I ask you right now to think of someone that influenced your life, a teacher that taught you something valuable, who would that be? Take a moment. I asked this question on my social media and sent it to some groups of friends and got hundreds of answers. And if the person that you're thinking about right now is anything like those answers, then you're not thinking of them because they just taught you history or math. You're thinking of them because they taught you about passion and exploration and curiosity. They taught you how to learn. Maybe they taught you you could learn. They taught you something about yourself. See, the traditional education system focuses on knowledge consuming, rigor, and grades. It's a linear process that moves a student from grade to grade to grade with the purpose of getting them into college. That's why when you visit a school, they will always boast about the number of students that got into prestigious universities. But nobody asks what happens after. What happens after college? But they should. And here are just a few reasons why. First of all, we are in the midst of a global mental health crisis. Young adults, teens, and even kids as young as 10 are not preoccupied with history and math. They're contemplating whether they should go on living at all. They're being bullied, they're lonely, they're depressed, and a lot of them lack important social emotional skills. And speaking about depression, I find it a little amusing. You know how universities invite famous, successful people to talk at their graduation ceremonies? People like Ellen and Jim Carrey and Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs, all of who dropped out of college. It's like somebody's there thinking, how can I really depress this newly graduating class and hint to them that this long journey in academia they just took, might be worthless, haha. But seriously, college degrees keep losing their values every year. If once having a bachelor's was the golden ticket to success, today professionals with 2 and even 3 advanced degrees are such a common thing, it could be challenging to find a job. And lastly, if the COVID pandemic challenged us to rethink the way we teach in the classroom, now comes the joker, the wild card. And yes, I am talking about the big fat elephant in the room, artificial intelligence. AI is not only going to shake the very foundations of higher education, that is based on research and paper writing, AI's forte, but it's going to drastically affect the school system as well. I have some bad news for the teachers in the room. Despite what they say, AI is going to replace teachers. In fact, it's already doing so. Just look at Khan's Academy's bot, Kamigo. It and other bots like it can teach any student, any subject, in an engaging and personalized way. Instead of spending every day for 12 years studying a subject, an AI bot can teach a student everything they need to know in a matter of months. So, we have to ask, why do we need schools? Do we need them? Are human teachers even necessary anymore? The short answer is no, not really. The school system as we know it is done. Yes, it's going through the motions, but it's basically a swan song. But it doesn't have to be the end of school. The education system can and should develop and evolve, just like I learned at 8, and just like we want all our kids to do when they face a challenge in life. Rise like a phoenix from the ashes. The education system needs a rebirth to recalculate its route. Interestingly, all these answers I got about teachers who influenced my friends, they were all about growth mindset and grit and communications and teamwork and creativity, all of which show up in research after research after research as the proven behaviors and skills that lead to success. See, we need schools. We need schools that we can send our kids to so they can interact with other human beings their age. Knowledge consuming can be done at home, but talking about it, arguing about it, exchanging opinions and views, listening, empathy, all of that can only be learned in a group dynamic. We need human teachers to coach our kids in growth mindset and creativity and resilience and anti-fragility and conflict resolution. We need schools so our students can learn human intelligence. So when they go out into the world, no machine can do what they can do. When every parent's ambition was to get their kid into college, then schools focused on prepping and numbers. But if next time you are in a parent-teacher conference or touring a prospective school for your kid, if next time you ask, tell me, what does this school do to build students' character? If we start measuring how many of school's alumni do what no machine can do, or better yet, how many of them are healthy, happy, contributing adults, then things will have to shift. And if you are an educator, a policymaker, or head of school, I urge you, take a bold step. Change the schedule. reduce the amount of traditional subjects, and add some character-building skill classes. In Denver Jewish Day School, we like to call them mensch skills. By doing so, you're not only going to stay relevant and better prepare your students for an AI-dominated world, you might even save lives. Thank you. Thank you.